Welcome back to Nucleona Studios. My name is Andrew, and we're continuing with View Extreme 10. In our last video, we did begin with atmospherics, and in this video, we're going to continue by making the fundamentals of our terrain. Now, this is just going to be the basic shape of our terrain and some water to go with the terrain a little bit. We're not going to do too much with that. I just want to point out a couple little features that we're going to make modifications to. One of them, we're going to go into the main camera, and we're going to bring the exposure down to negative 0.5. And the reason we want to do that is because the scene is going to be a little bit too bright. In fact, we're actually going to go like negative 0.3, actually negative 0.8. And then go ahead and boost the sun up into the sky and put it at like 30 degrees. Now, it's not going to look... it's going to look to you maybe a little bit like it's too dark. Actually, it is a little too dark. But it's not that dark, so don't worry too much. We're going to lighten up the sky just a little bit because I need... Yeah, that's good. Bring the sun down just a little bit, maybe to like 25. Okay. So just those minor little changes with the sun, and let's go ahead and create a procedural terrain. You can create a procedural terrain by left-clicking on this guy here. And when you do that, your terrain's going to plop right in the middle of your camera. And that's good, that's fine. Then let's go ahead and double-click on that terrain and make some modifications. So I'm not going to break into the tools today. I personally use World Machine as my software. But you can use these tools. World Machine gives me the ability to create height maps based on some advanced features that work very well with View. But for this, we're just going to do some quick stuff, and you can follow along. Alright, so let's just do some stuff like this, and maybe like that, and maybe like this. And we'll decrease the flow a bit. And I'm going to invert this, and we'll zoom out. I try to avoid having too many sharp edges, because you don't find sharp edges in real life. Too much there. Okay, so we've gone ahead and created a little terrain that looks like it's got some lakes and geometry around there. And that's quite what I'm looking for, and I think that's enough for here. And you'll notice now if I zoom out, you're going to notice that first thing you're going to notice that it's very overblown. You see it's way too bright. And so we will go in and adjust that in a moment. I'm going to, so the sun should be right about there. So this portion of the scene that I'm actually going to work with is going to be on this side. And so we're going to go like that, kind of. And the sun is, yeah, that's a good angle for the sun. We'll actually do that. We're going to take the ground, we're going to drag it down. I'm going to create some water. And I'm going to bring that water up so that it enters into my scene. Okay, and now we're not going to be seeing the scene from this angle. So it'll be perfectly fine. That's good. Good. All right, so let's zoom in here and we'll have a peek at what we've got. Now, the first thing you're going to note is that the terrain, it looks like this water is not very deep at all. And so the problem here, of course, is that the water isn't actually down far enough. And so we'll work with that in a minute. I'm going to come into the ocean here and just complete calmness. And then I'm going to double click on the sea. Go get rid of the foam because it's so small. And we're going to click on the default water. See, that's not a realistic blue. But that is. You'll notice that there's not enough ambient light in the scene. And so that's where you want to come and actually turn down the sunlight so that it can bring up some of the ambient light. When you do that, you're going to notice good. That's good. And just go ahead and increase the size of your terrain. That'll aid in making that water look more deep. Now, I created a channel in the water, and that's really the only thing that I want to see flowing through here. It's kind of like that. So the beauty of procedural terrains is as you get in closer, the details increase. And so when you're far out, there can be a lot less details on a terrain like this. Only one more modification here, and then we will conclude this tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and rotate the scenery just a smidge, and that's going to pick up the sunlight. And then so now you'll see, if I say we're to pick this as the point where I'm going to build the basis of my scene and render that, you'll see right off the bat we've got a good little setup for something extraordinary. Right, now that's a good start, and what we're going to work with in our next scene is building the caves that work around and through this to help with giving it a more realistic look. What I'm going to do is build a cave over the top of here, and then we're going to have a little bit, maybe some flowers and growing on the edge and some bushes, maybe a tree or something, and we'll see. All right, well, thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for your next video. Yeah.